All right, we're back with example 4. So this is a carpentry application. It states a carpenter is creating a woodwork pattern and wants 2 long pieces to be parallel, piece A and piece B. What it says is the measure of angle 1 is equal to 8x plus 20, and the measure of angle 2 is equal to 2x plus 10. If x equals 15, show that pieces A and B are parallel. Okay, so when we have something like this, what we need to understand is even though this doesn't look like what we've been doing, it is what we've been doing. So piece A and piece B, those are our 2 lines, and I can continue it like this, right? And then this thing right there, that's really our transversal, right there. Okay, so do you guys all see that? So here's our transversal. Here's our 2 lines, piece A and piece B, that we're trying to figure out, if they're parallel or not. So remember that whenever you're trying to figure out if something's parallel, you can just use one of those 4 converse postulates and theorems that we learned today. Remember, the converse of the corresponding angles postulate, converse of the alternate interior angles theorem, converse of the alternate exterior angles theorem, and converse of the same side interior angles. So if this is our transversal and these are our 2 lines that we're trying to figure out are parallel, what are angle 1 and angle 2? Are they corresponding angles? Are they alternate interior, alternate exterior, or same side interior? And these are definitely interior, right? They're inside these 2 lines, and they're on the same side, so these are same side interior angles. So really, to show that these 2 pieces are parallel, we have to show that angle 1 and angle 2 are supplementary to each other, and they add up to 180 degrees. All right, so that's kind of like the game plan. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing is to write down all of this given information, which we can totally do. So let's start here with measure of angle 1 equals 8x plus 20. Measure of angle 2 equals 2x plus 10. And then we have x equals 15. So that's the given information, right? And I'm going to move this up. So then what do we do? If you said we substitute, you're exactly right. And I'm going to make this a 1.5 just to try to keep everything kind of closer so I can keep it in one screen since I'm making this video. So I'm just going to go measure of angle 1 equals 8 times 15 plus 20, and measure of angle 2 equals 2 times 15 plus 10. And this is 1.5, and that's just substitution. All right, now we're going to go through the simplification process and just figure out what all this is. So measure of angle 1 equals, let's do this multiplication first, 8 times 15. Oh gosh, okay, so 8 times 5 is 40. Write the 0, then I carry a 4. 8 times 1 is 8, plus 4 is 120, plus 20. And then measure of angle 2 is equal to 2 times 15, which is 30, plus 10. So this is just simplifying, right? And then I'll make a 2.5. And then we just figure that out, right? So measure of angle 1 equals 120 plus 20 is 140. And measure of angle 2 equals 30 plus 10, which is 40. And that is 2.5, which is simplifying. Okay, so we remember to show that these 2 lines are parallel, we have to show that these are supplementary, which means I have to create a statement that looks like this. Okay, now we did this in a previous example, and so I have to kind of build this formula. So do you remember what I started with? Okay, I started with measure of angle 2 is equal to measure of angle 2, right? And why can we say this? Because of the reflexive property of equality. You remember that one? And then we need this plus measure of angle 1, right? So I'm just going to add the measure of angle 1 to both sides. And I can totally do that because of the addition property of equality, right? I'm adding measure of angle 1 to both sides. Oh, I think I'm going to call this 3.5. Okay, so that's the addition property of equality. And then there I have it. Now I can just substitute this information in, right? So that's what I'm going to do. We'll call this 3.75. Why not? So measure of angle 1 plus measure of angle 2 equals measure of angle 1 is 40 plus measure of angle 2 is 40. I see it starting to come together. That's what substitution. Okay, and then we just add that. Measure of angle 1 plus measure of angle 2 equals 180. Yeah, so that's called simplifying. And there we have it. We have the statement that we need, right? We needed this statement. So now we can say that those two lines, so, and I'm going to say it like this. I'm going to say, I'm just going to say piece A is parallel to piece B by the converse of the same side interior angles theorem. So that's it. All right, so make sure your notes look exactly the same as mine. Okay, let's go ahead and try this example. This is Check It Out example 4. And I really want you to try this one on your own. So go ahead, let's talk about it first. You have angle 1 and angle 2, and I think on this one you're just trying to prove that these oars are parallel. So with all that said, I want you to go ahead and pause your device, try to figure this one out on your own, and when you get done, press play and we'll talk about it together. All right, see you in a bit. Okay, let's see how you did. It says, suppose the corresponding angles on the opposite side. Oh, they're telling us that they're the corresponding angles. That's nice. Angle 1 and angle 2. Measure 4y minus 2 and 3y plus 6, where y equals 8. Show that the oars are parallel. I'm going to call this oar A and oar B, okay? All right, so basically these are corresponding angles, right? Do you guys see that? Like this is, so the key is to figure out how this is the same. So what we have here is this is a line and this is a line, and our transversal is actually it's right here. Okay, so this is kind of like our transversal. Okay, just that's what they want you to look at. I'm making it kind of big. Okay, and then it's telling us what those angles are. So it's kind of the same. It's exactly the same thing. It's just like a little application, and you can see that those two lines, they go, and we're just trying to show that the oars are parallel. So let's get started. The first thing we have to do is write down the given information. So I'm just going to say the measure of angle 1 is equal to 4y minus 2. Measure of angle 2 is equal to 3y plus 6. They're telling us that y is equal to 8. That's given information. All right. Then we're just going to substitute it in, right? So I'm going to call this 1.5. Measure of angle 1 is equal to 4 times 8 minus 2. Measure of angle 2 is equal to 3 times 8 plus 6. So that is substitution. And then we're just going to simplify. So measure of angle 1 is equal to 4 times 8, which is 32, minus 2. Measure of angle 2 is equal to 3 times 8, which is 24, plus 6. Is just called simplifying. And yeah, then we just do it again. I'll call this 2.5. Measure of angle 1 is 32, minus 2 is 30. And measure of angle 2 is 24 plus 6, which is 30. 2.5. We just simplified again. Okay, and you can see they are actually equal to each other, which is awesome. So we can state that measure of angle 1 is equal to the measure of angle 2 by substitution, right? And then to show that these are parallel, remember we have to make sure that it's in a congruence form. So we're going to say angle 1 is congruent to angle 2 by the definition of congruent angles. And then finally, since we know that these two angles are congruent, I'm going to say that OR A is parallel to OR B by the converse of the corresponding angles postulate. So if you got all that right, awesome job. You are doing wonderful. If not, that's okay. Just go ahead and erase and fix it so that your notes look exactly like mine. All right, I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day, and we will see you back for the next lesson, 3.4, pretty soon. All right, bye.